episode for the podcast, right? For our nonfiction book club. So I'm gonna get Mohit over, and we're gonna speak about books in general. That's that. So keep listening if you're interested. We're gonna talk about different various nonfictions that we've been reading and interested in. So I'm gonna get Mohit over, and let me know if you want to be part of the podcast. Also, I would love to have you over. We're looking out for guests to be part of the podcast and to discuss about various books that we are reading and stuff like that. It would be lovely to have you guys over, okay? I'm waiting for Mohit. Until then, you guys have to just hold up a bit. And yes, in the comment section, let me know what are you reading and how has the book helped you, so to speak, right? 2 seconds. Yes. So as long as I'm waiting for Mohit, what's on your reading list, guys? I see you, a lot of guys reading A Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's a crazy book. Then I think we have Mohit over. Yes, so I'm gonna get him over. And as usual, we'll do the usual, we'll discuss about books. At least when we speak about books. What is happening, bro?
What's up, bro? How's it going?
Good, bro. Just finished the
Yeah,
episode and just here I am.
yeah. You're working hard, bro, with podcasts and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Overtime. Working overtime with podcasts, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's easy. It's easier, bro, with this kind of production, at least, right?
true, true. Yeah, right.
How's it going?
So, you tell me, man, what have you been reading?
Bro, I started the Fourth Age. Have you heard of it?
Fourth
Fourth
Age, huh?
Age. It's about like AI and stuff. So I just started
Of
it. It's
course.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's by.
Like,
I don't have it.
let
I
me
was
check
just.
actually. Uh-huh.
Uh,
Oh, crap. Right.
chill.
Yeah.
It's about like conscious AI basically, bro.
Uh-huh.
It's fun.
The
It's
fourth
fun.
age.
I think it's part of one of these guys' book recommendations. Basically, I think that's why Life 3.0, the Fourth Age. It's like part of
Ah,
that.
yeah, yeah. There's this book called Robots Will Steal Your Jobs, and it's
I
gonna
think
be all
you've
right.
told.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I've heard of the only the name. How's it?
yeah. It's pretty good, dude. It's by this young guy. Okay, so I think this guy is a bit more optimistic regarding
Right,
the
right, right.
future. Like he's in the title is there, like it's gonna be okay. Like chill, like you know.
Exactly. So,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah, yeah.
one more book recommended is in my list. You know, the title itself is very good. I mean, it's very, what do you say, inspiring. It's called Fully Automated Luxury Communism.
Okay, fun.
Yeah,
Sounds like fun.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
AI might bring about like the communist ideal or whatever, where you live in utopia, all your luxuries are like automated and stuff. So,
Automated.
yep.
There was an animated movie, bro. I don't remember. Like people like that was like the opposite, probably. Like
Uh-huh.
so, this movie was like
Wally?
where like I think Wally, yeah. So where they
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
move, right? The fat
yeah,
dude just sitting in the chair. I know. I think
yeah.
is it Wally only?
Wally,
Like
yeah,
they're in like there's a treadmill kind of a setup where they're just
yeah,
sitting and they're like they can't move.
yeah,
One guy falls out of the chair. Is it that
yeah.
falls
It's
out?
Wally, yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
So that will possibly that's what it'll come down to, right?
yeah. Maybe
If
not
like
though.
AI starts automating everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
no.
yeah, yeah.
So
Go
bro,
on. Yeah,
probably do you think like all the what Elon Musk and all these guys are
mm,
up to, right? What as far
yeah,
as I realize, right? These guys were heavily inspired by futurism and science
yeah,
fiction at a very early age, right?
yeah,
So some authors kind of like some kind his kind of imagination, right? His was just an
yeah.
imagination. Let me create Jetsons. Hi bro,
Right.
Tariq, what's happening?
Tariq, bro, what's
Thank
going
you,
on?
thank you.
Yeah,
So
nice. Thank you, bro.
you do get to comment and let us know your thoughts and let us know what you're reading also.
Right.
So
Yeah,
as I was
Tariq.
saying,
Yeah,
so
go
as I
ahead, go
was
ahead. Yeah.
saying, so he writes a lot of he writes a lot of like futurism and stuff like that, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, right? Like the science fiction writer writes it out of his imagination,
Yeah.
Jetsons
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And his favorite book is Elon's favorite book, right? I
This
forgot. I
one, bro.
forgot.
The Foundation.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
Yeah. Douglas Adams. Yeah.
So
Also, this
he
one, Foundation by Isaac Asimov.
Foundations by Asai,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So these books are like these were kids who were reading these books when they were very young, and it was imagination, but this guy is bringing shit to reality,
Yeah.
right? So at every point, no, Elon Musk's thinking was like, "Fuck, I'm stuck in a traffic." Right, like can't we do like build underground systems for like
Yeah.
and next day he opens up the fucking boring company like just out of straight whim, right?
Yeah.
Right, straight out of straight
True.
whim is so like I think like writers like that influence a lot of kids who will become like
Yeah,
next age you know they'll bring forward changes like that. That's like crazy, bro, like just to think about like how
when you mentioned that, right, the Chinese Communist Party, right, back in the day, they were asking all these entrepreneurs and stuff like, what do we like need to do for the education of these kids? You know, they get into science and stuff, and these guys started talking about Star Wars and Star Trek and all that.
Yeah.
So these Chinese guys, you know what? We need to get into this science fiction thing, and you should see the science fiction authors of China is excellent, dude. There is amazing series. It's called The Three Body Problem. It used to be Obama's favorite book. It's like an ethical dilemma. Yeah, about it's like an alien invasion.
The trolley problem, is it?
Something like that. Yeah, see, I tried reading that book. it went over my head.
So, bro, anime is Japanese, but anime is Japanese, not Chinese, right?
Yeah.
But
Japanese, yeah.
So, but like they're very good at like production related to comics and but these are Chinese. This Chinese, this is different, right?
Right.
So, what's happening, bro? Sham.
Hey man, Sham, what's up? Yeah. So, this thing about futurism and all that. I've been like, looking into this more, all right? Like,
were you always? What was your first initial interaction? I was not like a futurism guy until I met Kevin Kelly. At least.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I was always into science fiction, bro.
I was never.
Bro. When I was a kid.
Okay, Okay. Now that you say Dexter's Laboratory, Jetsons, yes, but like predominantly these were not futurism fiction books, right? Okay, these people who are like heavily involved in like stuff like Foundations and these were like I never read all that stuff, but somewhere those were elements of Dexter's Lab and Jetsons.
Yeah, Jetsons. Right. Yeah. In Jetsons, there's a joke, right? Like the wife comes home and the husband is pretty tired, and she asks him like, "Oh, you look like you worked a lot." Yeah, 3 hours of a work day is like enough for me. So like expectations back then was, you're going to need back then, less. Yeah.
Probably Tim Ferriss started writing the 4-hour work week after that.
Yeah, man. Inspired by the Jetsons, why not?
4-hour work week. When was the first time you read 4-hour work week?
Oh, dude, I've been hearing about 4-hour work week so much. And then finally, I tried reading the first time. I couldn't understand. Couldn't.
Okay.
But it got too frustrating, man. It was too confronting. And then I've been reading bits and pieces. Like I've been reading bits and pieces the last decade. So yeah, the first time I read it though was probably when I was in college.
Okay, that's crazy, bro. I didn't do jack shit in college, bro. Every book that I read was probably because I got out of college. Because like college wasn't enough or intriguing enough at least, and that's where my real passion for like doing projects was basically almost based solely out of books like that. Like this podcast, like for that matter, was almost because of like EXO, like exponential organizations. Like that's why I'm going all in.
Book is amazing. Yeah.
like if you understand leverage and stuff like that through Code, Capital, and Media, quoting Naval. Right. Code, Capital, and Media. If you understand Code, Capital, and Media, you'll be able to leverage stuff. So I understand like we can leverage media by just you have a phone, I have a phone, you have internet connection. People are going to watch apparently like the virtual fireplace. We can sit around and talk about books and stuff like that. And that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason that doesn't stop me. Like a couple of podcasts still are in my mind, which hasn't been like catered to like the Bangalore community. And like again, like what we're doing in this book club podcast is like just having fun, like as far as
you're coming up with a Bangalore podcast, right? Like if you think about it, there's so many people in Bangalore. Like it's sort of worth it. It's like the density of the people is like unheard of, back in the
exactly. Plus there is a gap in the media concerning to the internet. Like Bangalore only creates nothing against that, but Bangalore only just creates nothing serious, not really serious. It's just like gossip and like
Yeah.
media.
There's an awakening happening, bro. Like it's like the Bangalore people are, there's so much content gonna come out of Bangalore.
Definitely.
I have a good feeling about it. So,
I always considered, I recently wrote it down also, there is some sort of like a renaissance period in terms of media and artists coming over in Bangalore too. I do feel that because like again, everything accelerates, right?
Yeah.
Code capital and media, right? Everything is in Bangalore. So it's sort of, there is an acceleration of like all of these and people who are very much interested in like various stuff, and it is like a great time, a point in time where like people can have various interests throughout the horizon. And again, there was a book which also catered to that, where you can actually learn 30 to 20% in the first couple of months or so, right?
Okay.
Or 21 days or something like that to pick up a habit and to pick up something new.
Which one you're talking about? Atomic Habits.
I have no clue, bro. I forgot.
Okay.
So in the habit segment, there is Atomic Habits is there, and we have there is another book. I forgot. I've read both. Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg or something.
Yeah. That was the first.
So those are like the habit. Those are great books.
Yeah.
Coupling habits.
Yeah, you can
coupling.
What?
Habit coupling basically speaks about in Atomic Habits.
Yeah. You do one thing and after that you chain it with
after that you
chase
it with this one. It's psychology. It is, isn't it, like psychology?
So like a video game, bro. Like there's this book called Super Better by Jane McGonigal, I think. Yeah, she's a video game designer, all right. And what she does is like she takes video game principles and puts it to like a
high
self-improvement. Yeah, Book Readers Club. What's up?
What's up? We have also reached out to Book Readers Club to be part of the podcast, so hopefully.
Excellent. Yeah.
In and around.
Yeah, book readers, unite. So.
Unite, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, like there was a point where I was like obsessed with video games, and I thought, you know what, I should like get some of that habit stuff over to me. So I found a couple of books which were like catering to like the video game mindset. Okay, one was by Jane McGonigal. There's another one called Level Up Your Life.
Okay, Level Up Your Life. Okay,
exactly. Yeah, gamifying.
So is it a book or like the concept of gamifying stuff?
Gamifying. Yes.
Exactly. I downloaded a couple of books, bro. There was recently.
Yeah.
Regarding basically education through gamifying, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like giving you the incentives. Okay, like it like hijacks your brain's drive to like do
exactly.
More. So it's sort of like So in that there are two kinds. There's a white hat method. There's a black hat method. White hat is basically the carrot you dangle in front of you. And the black hat method is like you getting a stick, on your back. So there's another book which is a bit more technical. It's called the Octalysis method. It's by this game designer. He's Chinese, but it is very what do you say? What's the word?
Out of
comprehensive.
Reach.
Yeah,
out of reach.
Like,
at least for normal people.
Yeah.
Right. So
wrote that for apps and stuff. Yeah. So you can
apply
to your life also.
Definitely, bro. Game designing is probably right now in India, especially since in India, like game designing is like a big thing. Definitely like a big thing.
It's gonna boom, man.
You can educate people through gaming, and like it's an easier mode to develop skill sets just by gaming. So that's more fun.
Have you heard of this concept? Metaverse. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, so just yesterday, all right, in Mangalore and Kochi, there was this architecture, this thing, all right, what do you call it, exhibition. So it's the COVID time. So how do you make sure that the people have the experience of being there and looking at the, architectural drawings or whatever that they put on the wall? So they created a virtual this thing, bro. Like you can enter with a VR glass, and it's as if you're standing inside the exhibition building.
Yeah.
It's as if you can interact with other people, sort of like Fortnite, okay? But like yeah. So Fortnite is an example for metaverse. Okay, metaverse.
But this is for what sector?
This is actually for all domains. I think this is going to be the future of the internet.
So yeah, bro, definitely. Now that you tell me, I just downloaded a couple of books. I started reading on AR, mixed reality, VR. It was all under the broader domain of mixed reality, I guess. Right, AR, VR.
There's a book about VR which is really interesting. It's called Experience on Demand. I think you should really check it out.
Okay, I think I have to rewatch this so that when I download, it'll be better. Yeah, definitely, bro. I
So
can
yeah,
write it out.
I'm just dumping like overwhelming with the list, I guess. But it's a
That's the
very
whole reason we
certain.
have the cloud, right?
Yeah, true, true.
I mean, like, as I
Hey,
told you,
Sujit,
no.
what's up? Yeah, how you been? Yeah,
Right, as I told you, right, you can speak anything and like as long as it's legitimate and like usable
yeah,
information, it's going to
true,
stay on the
true.
internet and long enough and I can
Yeah,
like I don't even have to write it down. I can just right
yeah,
like rewatch this.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what bro, AR, VR and I was looking into in terms of real estate where like VR and AR is going to
yeah.
be very much helpful.
True,
So
true.
there are a lot of companies starting off again like there is a fine melting pot of like AR, VR,
Yeah,
deep learning, machine
yeah,
learning, and
yeah.
like fucking everything. There's
Dude,
going to be
the
a
new iPhone 12 Pro, it has LiDAR now. So you can
okay. Oh
digitize
fuck,
the physical world. So this is it. Like already if you see it in iPhone in
lidar
the
is
next yeah, light
transformation of information through light, isn't
yeah,
it?
like it can scan anything, like scan a 3D object very accurately. So like how
And
radar
and
works,
transfer it.
and you can have a digitized model of it. So which means that you will be able to
Right, I've lost you, bro. Okay, we're gonna hold up, guys, for a while.
oh damn.
Usually,
Hello?
yes, I almost found him. Yes, yes. Now you're on,
I'm back.
and I lost you again. Yes.
Oh,
Now you're
hold
good.
up.
Now you're good.
Right. Must done it, bro.
You're yeah. Can't help it. We got to rig whatever. We're gonna reach. There are gonna be experiential points where like this won't be a problem. So until then, we have to deal with it, and that's the whole point. So yes, speaking about internet
Yep.
speed,
Hey.
Bangalore, India has like the least internet, and with till 5G, we have to just wait till
Yeah,
this
man.
works around.
True. Yeah.
Yes,
So yeah,
we're talking
that's
about
what.
lidar. Yeah,
Yeah, bro. Like you can. I think the future is like going to be very interesting when you have lidar in many other phones other than the just the iPhone. And if you want to like have an idea about what the metaverse is going to look like, I recommend this book, bro. It's a science fiction book called
huh.
Ready Player One. I think the movie was released 2 years ago.
Okay,
In Ready Player One, basically what it is that there is a digital world is all three-dimensional, and
right.
all information, data, or whatever is in a three-dimensional world. Whereas the physical world, it is like people spend more time in VR, like how people spend more time in the internet now. Like
Yes.
in the you get transported into the VR world, the virtual world, and the virtual world is like a large universe. Like anything
Uh-huh.
that is not possible in the physical limitations, it's possible over there. So imagine
Right,
that,
right.
like Facebook recently, like a couple of years back, Facebook bought Oculus
Oculus.
Quest.
Yes.
Yeah, basically for that reason, and they're gonna come up with Facebook Horizons or whatever. Like when I saw the trailer for Facebook Horizons, this is it. This is the Ready Player
Uh-huh.
One type thing. It's gonna come. And Ray Kurzweil, he has been predicting this, as usual, like since
Yeah.
2004. So
Yes. It's
yeah,
all due.
it's all due.
Right. So, let's go author-wise. What kind of
Yeah.
authors are we like? Just what's the which author has influenced you the most?
The
Mine is like
most
probably Malcolm Gladwell in the earlier stages when I used to read. Like I used to love all his
right,
stuff. What the?
right.
I'm sorry. It's called Blink. Yeah, Blink is there. We have
Yeah.
Outliers, and we
Mm-hmm.
have so many man. I saw his masterclass also. Very nice. The way he writes and
Oh,
stuff. He has a masterclass,
hey,
right?
I didn't know this. I have to check it
How he
out.
writes and stuff. Very nice, very nice. And he
Right.
has a beautiful way to write to just
Mm-hmm.
like. It's my favorite book. Outliers is probably because it came in a point in time where I was like, let's say an outlier as such. So
Okay.
it just
Yeah.
sort of spoke to me, right? That's
Right.
nice. So
Right.
Seth Godin is nice. Seth Godin,
Yeah, bro. No
amazing
doubt.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, author Robert Greene. I can't like talk anyone like
Yeah,
Robert
bro.
Greene.
Robert Greene
You've
really
read
broke me,
Mastery,
man. Huh?
Mastery, Mastery,
I
MAST.
have that. I have that. That's the one book
Oh
of
fuck.
Robert Greene I have bought.
It's a sort of a Bible, bro, for me.
Yeah, bro. It's right here.
Bro,
Yeah.
amazing. I'm getting
No
chills
doubt.
if I look at that fucking book. I swear to
Yeah.
God. I love that book. It's almost like uh, I love that book in a way that I need to keep like just turning pages and just like
Yeah.
he speaks about everything, Leonardo da Vinci and
Yeah.
like all this.
And he spoke about this architect, bro. This architect, Argentinian architect called Calatrava. And when I was
Huh,
an architect myself in college, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna master this
huh,
architect. I was just gonna read this, but then I got sidetracked. So like I'm gonna like
huh.
explore it once more. Yeah. So,
Definitely.
bro, Mark Manson, bro. Like if you ask me
Mark
like
my
one,
subtle art of not giving a fuck,
yeah, dude,
and
I knew
just
I knew Mark
everything is
Manson.
fucked.
Yeah, everything is fucked and Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Bro, I swear to you, before he released that book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? I was following Mark Manson, okay, like in third year
Crazy.
of my college. See, I'll tell you why, alright? Because Mark Manson had written a book called Models, okay? The subtitle of that book is Attract Women with Honesty. Back then, I
Okay,
was like
okay.
into that pickup artist scene,
Definitely.
right?
Oh, then you read the game, Neil
Yeah,
Strauss.
yes,
Everybody's
absolutely,
read
yeah.
it.
Everybody's read it. So,
At least, yeah.
so yeah, bro. Like I used to read all of I used to save Mark Manson's articles. He used to have a blog, okay, and
So,
he still has it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck used to be an article. That's so his most liked article. And I used to read. I used to like save his articles as PDFs, and I used to read it again and again. And funnily
yeah.
enough, the first time I heard about Ray Kurzweil was in Mark Manson's blog post, bro.
Yeah.
When the way
Okay.
Mark Manson
Fuck.
spoke about Ray Kurzweil, I was like, maybe I'll like check him out like
So,
2 months later. Yeah.
I feel like Mark Manson sort of like the book publishing deal was like his whim. Like he didn't give
Yeah.
two fucks. The
Yeah,
way he wrote
yeah,
the book also was like,
yeah.
fucking
He,
this.
he
I don't care
basically,
if I make money from the book. Like I don't
yeah.
care. Like this is what I want to say,
He must
and
have
this
a
is
gig
what I feel
somewhere.
it. Huh?
Yeah. He must have some other gigs actually. Like this book thing, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
does,
what was his
and stuff.
approach.
Yeah, and the way
Yeah,
he's written the book, that's where the intent comes from. Like, I don't care, I need to
yeah,
make money, but the information that I've given here is like
yeah,
so like truly resonating with me that the book's sort of like was a hit. It's a big hit.
yeah,
Partially, I think because of the cover, people just fucking take pictures of that book. I don't think they've
yeah.
even,
It
but
is
provided
Instagram
people do
worthy.
read the
Yeah,
book. People do
yeah,
read the book because the book is very well written in terms
yeah,
of the way he's written it is also very nice. But mostly, I feel like
yeah,
people on Instagram just buy the book just to fucking take a picture and just post it because
yeah.
like it just goes well with
Maybe.
the entire the
Yeah, the
subtle art.
aesthetic,
But
isn't it?
it did
Yeah.
move. It did move me. And one of the other book in that realm was The Millionaire Next Door. No, it's not The Millionaire Next Door. There's another.
The Millionaire
It's
Fastlane, bro.
The Millionaire Fastlane.
Fastlane,
Definitely,
bro.
yes. Yes.
I love that
That
book,
was a
man.
good book.
Yeah.
That was a
MJ
great book.
DeMarco. Yeah.
The MJ DeMarco.
Yeah,
Yes.
bro. Dude, see,
I'm a big fan of DeMarco, bro.
yeah, man. You know what? To be honest with you, it's not like a book so good like the Tolstoy's War and Peace or whatever, but that book like
Yeah.
really pumps you up. Okay.
Yeah, it
Like
pumps you up.
Yeah.
Speaking about pumps you up, like there are
Yeah.
books make you feel different ways. Like one pumps you
Yeah.
up, one just puts you in this introspective mode of like thought and stuff.
Yeah.
One hits you at a later point of time, probably. What was that book that just pumped you up? Like Millionaire
Bro.
Fastlane was definitely.
I have that book, man. Born to Run by Christopher
Born to Run.
McDougall. Dude,
So I did
love
start
that
it.
book. Yeah.
I did start. He was talking about how the feet was like the most sensitive part with all neurons. He
Yeah.
started off with that stuff. What does it
Yeah.
move into, like the book at the later stages?
Actually, like how we all
In the book
started
club,
is-
somebody actually recommended that. That's why I started.
It's an excellent book though. It actually starts with this tribe of Mexicans who run like without any sneakers or whatever. And Christopher McDougall is like a journalist who is like crazy about marathon people who run marathons. So he's really looking for like who are these people, like what is the science of running? Like why does there's this phenomena called runner's high. When you like run,
Yes.
periods of time, you get lost in it and you get that flow.
Yep. I felt it.
Yeah. So like this, dude, that book was amazing. It went through the history, it went through evolution, it went
Right,
through
right,
like,
yeah.
health and dude, it really like how the Rich Dad Poor Dad made you like get out of the house and start investing
Yeah.
or whatever.
And
That-
did you
that was
read it, by the way?
Yeah. I actually listened to the I'm reading it
Audiobook.
actually.
I-
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like 175 pages in.
You said
and,
you hadn't actually read it. Like, so what are your thoughts after reading it?
Oh, dude, it's really good, man. I feel bad for being somebody who's put it aside.
Yeah.
This book has been with me since 2012, believe it or not.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is it's a quintessential book. I feel like
No
I
doubt.
feel like it was definitely you will. Robert Kiyosaki is like a great teacher like that.
Yeah,
And all his
yeah,
books, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, he has books on real
yeah,
estate and stuff. Like, man,
yeah. Excellent.
it's like a proverbial red pill for me. It was
Yeah.
like, man, like now I have intent, right?
Uh-huh.
Before, when I started off, I didn't understand. I was obviously,
Mm-hmm.
like, as everyone, I was scared of the corporate world, and I didn't
Uh-huh.
understand where do I fit in the corporate world. Like,
Yeah.
how do I make sense of the corporate world? I was
Right.
probably 360, 180 degrees. I was away from like the corporate world. I was
Yeah.
running the other way, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the more of that happened, the more I started reading this.
Yeah.
Um, right, I was like, okay, like then there was another book which was uh, artists around. It was vaguely termed artists, great artists. They thrive. They don't just survive, or something like that. It was something like that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It was more about an artist. If he's really an artist, he has to thrive versus just survive by, right?
Uh-huh.
So that sort of like got me going as to like, like you can be an artist and you can like sort of like, you can learn how to monetize and own
Mm-hmm.
systems and like build systems. That definitely takes a long time. It's like a
Yeah.
long
Long
nasty
game.
journey
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of people pointing fingers at you and people
Yeah.
obviously misunderstanding you because like the Indian, like the matrix, so to
Yeah.
speak, the dogma, Indian dogma, as to so to speak, like
Yeah.
won't obviously like help you in all of this. But like you obviously once when I read RDPD, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Rich Dad's Guide to
Yeah.
Investing, sort of I
Yeah.
had like a blueprint at least. I knew
Right.
like
Right.
I might fail, I might suck, but like what's in my court is like the time. Like
Yeah.
it was essential that I read it at when I was very young, 24 probably. 24
Mm-hmm.
probably. I was like a
Right.
couple of
Right.
years back and I was like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
it came in the right time and I could understand like, wow, like now it makes sense. It's a long game right now, at least. And at least I might fail, but like I can learn to build systems. Whereas like the later you
True.
read,
True.
right, as
Yeah.
you understand from reading this book, the earlier you read, it's way better. It's one of the
True. True.
one you should read in your 20s ASAP. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm actually in the 170 page, and like I understand he has a lot more other books, isn't it? Like Rich
yeah, yeah,
Dad's
yeah.
Guide to Investing and all that.
Investing,
Yeah,
rich dad advisors, he calls it. He makes you understand cash flow. He makes you
yeah,
understand, right, which is actually very important. Like,
yeah,
sure you need to learn STEM, but like
hmm,
really our science, the education system as of yet are not set up to like basically understand personal finance
right, right.
and money management and like
Yeah,
taxation, which is like it's not like just because I don't learn it, I won't get taxed, right?
yeah, yeah. True,
Like
true,
just
man.
right,
Absolutely.
see,
Yeah,
in terms of STEM, just because I don't learn bio, probably I can evade bio for the longest amount of time, right?
hmm.
Right, technically
Regarding this,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
ask like a
Yeah.
like
So,
someone else in the field of biology,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
to help me
yeah,
out,
yeah.
exactly. But this
True,
is
true.
personal finance, right? You have to have
Yeah,
your wherewithal of understanding finance,
yeah.
investing, and stuff like that. So like it's a matter of being in which quadrant do you want to be in, right?
True, true.
And the decision was far easier. I could understand like where do you put in the time, where do you remove the time.
Yeah. So you know what, like regarding learning something, right? Like as you mentioned, finances, and how you consider like the college education or like the regular education. If you think about it, like I've been, how I've been approaching to learn data science right now is that I'm
Yeah,
trying to do the university approach, and it's really not working for me. They're talking about learning like linear
yeah,
algebra,
yeah.
calculus, statistics, probability, all that crap.
Python,
Yeah, and then
linear
I realized,
algebra.
yeah, bro. It's actually like if I have to start coding, right, I need to get past all of this. God knows how long that's gonna take. Then I found this another coder. Okay, he wrote a blog post about this. That what the way they teach you in university is like before you go drive a car, they teach you about how the shaft works, how the piston works,
I was
and
coming to that.
all that.
Please continue.
Yeah,
Yes.
like yeah, and they're not teaching you how to drive. Like, to drive a car, do you have to know how the car works, how the piston
Exactly,
works, transmission works and
exactly.
shit?
Reverse
Like you
engineer
just
it.
yeah. So so like why don't you just start driving the car?
That's
So I'm
how
like, what?
I think that
Yeah,
post was somewhere related to Elon Musk's. It was Elon Musk's
first
philosophy of
principles.
learning things. I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
that's where I got that point too. So I reverse engineer it. Even I'm trying to
yeah,
understand data science as we spoke about earlier. So how I'm
yeah,
going about it is I'm keeping an active council of like mentors in the data
uh-huh,
science, coding and stuff like
right,
that. So those are
right,
the front end warriors who are
yeah,
in the
yeah,
practicality of things. So the
right,
more
right,
conversations you have with
yeah,
them, so to
yeah,
speak, it's far more easier for you to reverse engineer and understand like
What do I
Yeah.
need to learn where the field is at right now?
Yeah, like you're
Versus
discovering
if you're
the
trying to
depth of
study the
it.
theory, what happens? It's a dynamic field. So
Yeah, bro.
speak with marketing, right? If
Yeah,
you're studying the
yeah.
theory of marketing, marketing is already moving by the time the guy
Moved,
released the
yeah.
book, right?
Yeah.
So might as well reverse engineer, go where the thing is. But here's the thing. Here is the big
Yeah.
stark difference where I feel. The difference is people who are trying to do this, right? They want the
Uh-huh.
degree, they're putting upfront money on the degree so that they think by the time they finish the degree, they're going to get the job. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is work for peanuts. In fact, work for free.
Mhm.
You know, they spit on your face, these mentors, so to speak. I mean,
Yeah.
like just like not really, but like so to speak,
Yeah,
right? They're going
we
to
got
spit
it.
on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
face, right?
Yeah,
But you're going to be, that's how a learner is. You're going to like, put your ego out of the way. If that's what you want to learn, you're going to tell him this is what's going to happen. I'm going to like, that's how I would pitch. I'm going to clean your shoes. I'm going to get coffee, fucking
Yeah.
anything. Let me learn.
Yeah.
Like whatever you outsource all this fucking retarded shit to me. I'm going to learn. Let me understand if it's anything that I want to learn. So there, you learn by mentors. You learn by osmosis. Exactly,
bro.
right.
Drinks, bro. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you're out there, when you're speaking, you're having an active conversation with all these people. These people are working in companies which are actually doing the work. So
Yeah.
guess who understands the whole scenario far better than somebody who just finished data science and who's still doing data science and still in like the
Yeah.
back end, who haven't gotten real experience because now they've spent quite considerable amount of
Enough time.
money learning.
Yeah.
Learning.
Yeah.
The people who have gotten the degrees, right? They've spent
Yeah.
amount of time. Now they want to go into internship and they're waiting for the first payday,
Yeah.
which will actually come if you have the experience, right?
Yeah. The poor dad.
But
approach, bro.
which you won't have
Yeah.
unless you work for free. Now working for free and studying is like a lengthier amount of time, getting up to date with the real life practices.
True.
Instead of that, bypass everything. Go to the person who's like
Go to
working.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, you can pay him a premium for just like,
Teaching you.
actually teaching you and being part of your like,
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? These are modern ways to actually fucking learn what is happening.
True.
And
true.
this is
Bro,
my trial and
the
error.
Thing about coding is it's supposed to be very practical. You can use coding right now in your daily life to automate the boring stuff. In fact, I highly recommend this book called Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. If you're like getting into it.
Okay. That's
yeah.
the book is very interesting. But like I think I have to put a disclaimer. I can't say I hate coding. Like I don't know the head or tail of any kind of coding. Like as far as I was concerned, like I don't understand coding. Like I'm in that stage. Definitely, if I'm interested, obviously I'll do anything to start learning it.
There's actually a course, a Harvard open course you can find on the web. They simplify it. They make it like easy, like a game. Now kids, right? Kids. I have a cousin back in Australia. They are teaching little kids how to like code, bro. Like they're learning how to make games and shit.
And so they're going to learn algorithmic thinking. So that's like I like the philosophy more than like what are you actually going to learn. Like
True.
let's say you're going to become an electrician and you're going to like rewire houses and stuff like that. But like actually in your personal life as an electrician, like what are some philosophies that you're taking out of it that is more like fundamentals, right? You're going to learn about different stuff. Same thing goes for like physical fitness as such. Like you're going to become a physical trainer and you're going to like probably work in the field, but like what's the philosophy that you're going to take, the importance of discipline, the importance of being diligent at it, the importance of like nutrition and stuff like that, like personal things, right? So now you have a two-edged sword that you're going to like, it's going to help you out in doing things. Right. If one can fail, the other can like help you. The same way I started learning psychology, right? I didn't like formally learn psychology, but I was so interested that didn't stop me from it. Like I could download a book, I could start reading. Who's going to stop me, right? Who's going to stop me is like probably someone who's calling me out for having like a drink or like calling me out on a Saturday night just to go around, right? That's that's another game you have to like understand, right? That's like sort of another aspect that you have to make sure, actually I want to read, like let me sit back and actually learn all of this. And when I started doing that, I just finished the other episode where she said like psychology is more practical, right? It's transferable to any field, to the field of selling, to the field of marketing, to the field of consulting, stuff like that. And it's like a modern day like a superpower, so to speak. And that brings me to the great book Whole Brain. The Whole Mind,
Oh,
right?
okay. Whole New Mind.
Whole New Mind.
Yeah.
By
Dan Pink, bro.
Dan.
The
No,
House.
it's Dan Pink. Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite book, bro. My favorite.
Yeah.
Like I cannot like speak.
True.
Like that book is gonna play out in my life like mastery.
Yeah. Huge.
It's somewhat
Yeah.
similar. Like Dan Pink's book, Symphony and all that crazy
Harmony.
and all harmony and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Great concepts, bro. Great
Yeah.
concepts. That's going to like if kids are taught that stuff right now, right? How to
Yeah.
balance your right brain and your left brain and
Yeah.
synchronistically like work both
Yeah.
ends, right? Like I
Yeah,
would love
dude.
it.
Yeah.
Right. That concept, that's where I was referring to. Like there is sort of like a renaissance period, so
man.
to speak. People are not gonna only go into STEM fields or sort of. I would love for you to like play the cello or the violin and still do like coding and rocket science. There's nobody's going to
True.
stop you, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
use both aspects, right?
Yeah.
And book wise, I think like let me get a book which I usually get out.
Sure.
What about this?
Emotional. Oh, is this Daniel
Wait,
Goleman?
one second. Yes, these
Daniel
are like.
Goleman.
Yeah, I'm not a hardware guy, but this is like some of the
Hard book, huh?
one of the
Emotional
couple of
Intelligence,
books
yeah.
that I have. Yeah. So this is a nice book. This is a very
Emotional
tough
Intelligence
book.
Yeah.
Daniel Goleman. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can one go. You really don't understand anything. As far as I'm
True,
concerned, I did not,
Yeah.
bro. But since it's a hardcover, I can like literally flip through and it makes
Yeah,
sense. It's a very hard thing about emotional intelligence and stuff like that. It was a groundbreaking concept back
Yeah.
then. I don't know. It really interesting, but man, this book, the things they speak about in this book is very tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough because you're almost always overridden by like your ego, so to
Overwhelmed.
speak. Yeah, overwhelmed by your ego, so to speak, and stuff like that. And emotional intelligence want you to take a step back and
Yeah.
assess the situation and see where the other person is coming from.
Confronting, is it?
Empathy, more of like empathy and understanding, right? If somebody cuts you off on traffic, you should have the emotional intelligence to say, probably, he fought with his wife or like he hit his head while entering, like
Yeah.
to have
could be
that.
anything, right?
Yeah, right. Could be anything, but like you're so in yourself that you start screaming and there's road rage and shit, right?
Yeah.
But like emotional intelligence is sort of like again you train it to see ways that again it boils down to stoicism also, right?
Yeah.
Which also goes on to say the stoicism also says the people that I deal in the morning like don't know they're not good or they're either good or they're bad. They are like they are
Marcus
sort of
Aurelius.
Aurelius.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And they can't tell good from evil, and it's more about like that's a great line. I don't know butcher it.
Yeah, it's
actually
interesting, bro.
fine.
Like a really good premiere on Stoicism is this book called A
Meditations.
Guide to a Good Life. A Guide to a
Okay.
Good Life by
Okay.
I forgot, William Irvine, I think. We'll look it up.
Okay.
But that book was recommended by Tim Ferriss actually. Tim Ferriss released a couple of. He basically made an audiobook version of Letters by Seneca. The Seneca
Okay.
Yeah, he is the Roman.
Yeah.
Stoic.
He's a big follower of letters, but bro, that brings me. I wanna cut you immediately. I have like a brain wave, right? As a part of the book club. No, I don't. I think we can reach out to people who read books and who are like in CEOs and great positions. Anybody who's reading books and just do a Tim Ferriss book recommendation, one episode. Just ask them to just give us 10 books, stuff like that, right? For the podcast.
Dude. Yeah.
We can do that, right? What Tim Ferriss does, he just asks somebody, what are you reading? Give us 10 books on stuff like
Basically
that. And
their
so,
lifestyle design. He's like asking, how did you design your lifestyle? We'll take a blueprint of it and post it on the web.
because all the great books that I see, there are two kinds of ways that you get recommendations: blog posts, or the other way is podcasts where like somebody's episode starts. Like Tim Ferriss' podcast where he gets a guest over and he takes over the episode. He does an episode takeover and says, "Hi guys, blah blah blah," and I'm gonna like give my top 10. And that's where I learned. I got a lot of books. Non-violent communication was one of the books. A lot of books, and one book was particularly where Foundation by Isaac Asimov was
Foundation.
through that episode. I realized that a lot of CEOs apparently were actually like inspired by that book to become who
Yeah.
they are apparently, right? That ties to my point what I'm about to say. There are a lot of crazy people, right, in crazy positions, CEOs and like movers and shakers who actively read like us. So all we have to do is reach out and say, like give us a recording of whatever you're reading,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
5 to 10, and we'll be good
Like a
for the
rapid fire
club.
round, bro. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
not a
like
rapid
10
fire. Give us your
yeah.
top 10
10
and like
books.
make an
Yeah.
episode. Yeah. On what you'd like, because like there is no service as such there's no media service as such who does this, right? So if we reach down to people who actively
Yeah.
read books, obviously
Yeah.
they'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, fuck, I like reading too. There's nobody else who does this, and there's a book club who's reached out. Probably I can make an episode like a podcast episode. So it's
Yeah.
fun to bring on board their recommendations versus just like literally asking them and writing it out. We can ask them to do like a short recording of like
Yeah.
so and so such like this. So it's more fun and it brings more awareness about the book club too. If we bring over like crazy CEOs and crazy
Yeah.
people
performance,
involved, high performance people,
people. Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
artists
dude.
and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. We can do book recommendations and we can find the gold, man. Like think about it. Like we can find like our troop, like our crew of like people.
We'll find, some book which has been lost.
and
or something,
especially the people who read such books and who have an active like reading list, so that obviously like as far as I realize, a lot of CEOs and they take out 2 to 3 hours definitely out of the day to like literally sit and read. So I mean, I from personal experience, though I'm like not worth anything, I realize where that comes from. Like my brain doesn't start working unless I just pick up something and just start reading for the day at least. Hold up.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So that's what like a sort of how you need your blood to start flowing through your body, right? In the morning, people do yoga and stuff like that for the physical body to move, right? Some people like coffee so that this starts working. But I'm more like I need to just read like a bit so that like everything starts working. Like as long as you read a bit, like everything starts working perfectly, fine, and you get into a meditative state. That's what I like. That's
Flow
beautiful.
state, bro. The reading
Definitely.
is like one of the first things that takes you to flow state, no doubt.
Definitely. And like invariably it connects you to people too, right? Just because you read, you're not like a bookish, bookworm, like a nerd or something like that.
Yeah, bro.
Like
you
it's
can
the
relate
opposite
with
for me.
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
reading.
And a part of
go on. Like,
and if I have to say, like a part of me starting with so many podcasts is because I've read so many domains related books, right? That I can ask questions. I don't have to answer. I don't have to be an expert. I have to know enough to like know what they know so that I can like ask questions and help them out in this one. So that's where it's so much fun. Where all the reading that I've done actually has found like a fine point where I can start all these podcasts and start asking questions. I would be able to relate because obviously I've read from fucking hypnotherapy to fucking like I've read everything, bro. Just like how people eat food just because they've never eaten it in their life, right? I want to try every food cuisine in the world. I'm like, I want to read fucking this, everything that's possible. Like
everything.
What's there to lose, right? So in terms of that, I don't have like a kind of a prejudice towards books. Like I open it up, I read it, and then I throw it. Like it's the books intent to like catch up with my need to be read by me, so to speak, at least. Right. Well, what else, bro? I want to speak about some more great books. Emotional intelligence is nice.
We need to like come up with like system where each episode we talk about a particular domain. So like one episode we only talk about the fitness books. The next domain
we can keep it like a Russian roulette kind of a thing, but still keep it random at the same time. I'll call fitness. Let's just go down fitness rabbit hole. If I'm bored, I'll just call psychology. Let's go down let's keep it that way so that it's coherent, but still it's still we can still play around. Like let's not right so that it's more fun like that. Right? Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know. Like that's the part where I still feel we can be creative. Like there's no set agenda, but we're still talking. Right? There's no set time where we come online, but still it's about how both of us can make time, get on board and get free and just start talking, right? And plus it's like, bro, like I want to do this. It's not like it's not a chore for me, right? So like,
true.
It's more fun if you keep it that way. And I'm looking at sustainability too, right? Like,
true.
The minute you put in boxes, the minute you have to do this time, you're like already out of the window. So I sort of like somebody who works out who used to at least work out like fucking for
Yeah.
3 hours a day for like straight up six years, right? 7 years. I can like proudly say that I've done literally one thing every day. Other
Okay.
than eating and taking a shit, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
other than a normal shit, I've done one thing which is pretty hard, and I've managed to understand. Again, that comes down to my thing where I told you how do you drive and understand philosophies from different
Right.
fields that you do day in day out, right? So fitness
Yeah,
taught me that like how do you be sustainable, how do you keep it creative at the same time not keep it boring,
Yeah.
how do you keep it interesting at the same time, right? So that means I don't do legs, arms, and only Monday leg day, Tuesday chest day. I don't do
Oh,
that,
got
right?
it, got it, got it.
Right, I go in, I think like a jazz artist, like
Yeah,
what's
nice.
what's at me, what are the notes you're throwing at me, like I'm gonna play around with that. Well, how am I feeling? Like I question myself too. So that allows you to again question yourself, bro. I'm feeling low energy. Let's do a 20-minute episode. I'm like, fine.
True, true,
There's no
true.
agenda, right?
Agenda.
So it helps.
Okay, let's go
state
for
of
it. Yeah.
state of flow
Yeah.
again.
Got it. Yeah, state of flow. Right, bro.
Every-
Awesome. I'm on board. Yeah. You know what? Like speaking of fitness and futurism, like I found out about this really cool Iranian author. Okay, back in the 50s, 60s, he was something big. So the funny thing is that this guy was thinking about the transhumanist thing, like what Ray Kurzweil has been writing.
Crazy.
He's been writing about it back then. Like his book was called "Are You a Transhumanist?" Like he's asking, like
Right.
are you gonna be- yeah, and bro, his name is something like I can't pronounce, but he changed his
As
name to
usual, the Iranian.
Yeah, FM 2030, bro. He was gonna live till 2030. That's his hope and belief that
Right.
Dude, do you know the name FM 2030 sounds like really slick and futuristic, but the really sad part is that person died in 2000. Okay, the year 2000, 30
Right.
years short of and now there's a documentary about him that his body got cryogenically frozen, like his body has been preserved, and they are trying to bring him back this decade.
Back.
That is yeah.
Okay,
that
so
is
coming to that,
something. Yeah.
coming to that Futurama.
Yeah.
Do you
man.
watch Futurama?
Yeah, bro, I do.
Hey, Fry. So now we were speaking about cartoons, right? So Futurama, yes, fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Dude, he lives till 3000. That year 3000?
Yeah, 3000 or so, whatever. I don't like. I don't remember like what's the initial like the setup of this.
That was Rick and Morty before Rick and Morty was around.
Yeah, they were before. It's Matt Groening, right? Simpsons.
Yeah, same guy, Simpsons guy. Yeah. Right. And see, Simpsons is a show without ideas now.
Yeah.
Futurama is a show without seasons. It ended
Seasons.
soon. Yeah.
Did it end already?
Yeah, it's over, bro.
I was a big fan of Fry, bro. I was a big fan
Bender,
of fucking
bro.
Bender, bro. Bender was
yes,
like
bro.
the coolest fucking character.
Yeah.
Bender was the coolest fucking character ever, bro. I don't really think so, bro. Like, my top three are like South Park's Cartman. Cartman,
yeah.
obviously Cartman, you can't fucking beat Cartman. There's no way.
Yeah.
Second is like probably arguably like a Family Guy for me, Peter. I like Peter Griffin a lot.
Griffin,
And like
okay.
two, and the third one is like definitely Bender. Bender is like, it's a Bender. It's like,
Yeah, man.
oh no, Bender's there, and do you know about? Okay, they're
Zoidberg?
going off of books. I'm just
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get back to books. I'm going to just talk about this guy, Stan Smith, American Dad.
American.
Dad.
I don't watch American Dad, bro. You're talking about the alien.
American Dad, yes, bro. Funny as fuck. There's somebody called Roger. He's an alien, basically. He's a fucking alien.
Dude,
Bro, the best character.
You should check this. You should check this TV show out called Mike Tyson Mysteries. Okay.
Okay.
It's excellent. That too is like American Dad, but it's like fucking Mike Tyson, and he has like this obsession about pigeons. So there's a pigeon that talks also.
Oh, it's like a satire.
Satire.
Or like a
Sunny
comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Based on like Scooby Doo parody, bro. It's really hilarious.
Right.
Right.
So, let's get into these kind of books. Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow. Again, we're going through psychology.
Yeah, bro. Thinking Fast and Slow, bro. I know that book is important, but before we go there, no, Thinking
It's
Fast
a
and Slow.
thick ass book.
Yeah, it's a thick ass book, very thick. But the what is the name of the scientist there? One was
Daniel Kahneman. Amos Tversky.
And Amos Tversky, yeah. So Amos Tversky, Daniel Kahneman, and Richard Taylor, right?
Richard
This
Taylor,
guy,
yes.
Bro. Yeah, bro. You know
Nudge.
the guy who wrote Moneyball, and you know the guy who wrote The Big Short, those books? He wrote a
Okay.
book about these guys. That was
Okay,
his
okay,
most
okay.
recent book. It's called The Undoing Project. Bro, I've been like
Oh.
I got my, yeah,
Okay,
I've been
okay.
wanting to finish that book. It's like, it's I have never got around to it.
Richard
Yeah,
Taylor, have you read Nudge?
Misbehaving?
No,
What?
Nudge. Nudge.
No, I have not
Nudge.
No,
Oh, that's
no,
nice.
no.
He won like a Nobel Prize or something for that. So let's get into that, bro. Let's get into that side. Dan Ariely, Predictably Irrational.
Yeah.
Have you read? That's
Economics.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, bro. That's crazy. Basically, how people are Scott Adams kind of books, like human irrationality, basically, just
Right.
revolving around that. That is also like very interesting.
Cool.
Predictably Irrational is very good.
And
He's good
Truth
friend.
About Dishonesty.
Okay. haven't.
That's also by Dan Ariely. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a couple of books. He has 4 to 5 books. Very nice books. And like I urge anybody who's listening to also read about like this kind of stuff, because somewhere irrationality and economics is tied up.
Yep.
So if you want to understand economics and stuff like that, they give you like a greater understanding, and they tell you where it sits basically, right?
Yeah.
So Richard Taylor is there. There are certain other books, okay, about how the human market, the animal instincts, basically how the market is driven by animal instincts versus like
I know this.
Yes.
It's by
Yes.
this guy Jeffrey Miller, right? Jeffrey Miller.
no. Fuck. How do I forget? It'll come back. So yeah.
Okay. God damn it, bro.
Narrative economics. This is the guy who wrote narrative economics also. Narrative economics, and there is another this one. Very interesting, bro. Very interesting.
Right. Have you read Freakonomics, by the way?
Yeah, Freakonomics definitely. I saw this one. Think Like a Freak is a new book I've downloaded. I have to like start reading it.
Check it
Think
out,
Like a
man.
Freak is by those guys only.
Yeah.
They have their own podcast also.
Yeah.
The Freakonomic guys.
Bro, in Freakonomics, there's this one chapter where they analyze a drug dealer, right? Like how a drug dealer is compared to an MBA, and how he does this accounting and financing and his personnel. This is an amazing book, okay, with a similar note. It's called Narconomics. They talk about the economy.
Oh, probably they've ripped off definitely Freakonomics.
Bro, but this guy, the guy who wrote this, he used to be the lead writer in the Economist newspaper in London.
Oh, nice,
Like, The Economist is like reputed, okay. Like
Yes.
this guy, I forgot his name, but Narconomics, it gives you the economics blueprint on how to run a drug gang. Okay?
It's very interesting, though you obviously not advisable to go into it, but you want to learn again. You want to learn about like selling and like probably keeping accounts and how the dynamics of running a business runs. That's what they say, right? That's why.
Deal drugs, kids. Like,
Yeah, that's. And Dr. Dre's book is also out there, right? Dr. Dre is also not Dr. Dre.
This guy, bro, 50 Cent.
Not 50 Cent. I think it's Dr. Dre. Yes, Dr. Dre has a book.
What? Holy crap! This I gotta know, man. I gotta check it out. Yeah.
So who started out? Dr. Dre was also dealing drugs. The record, I might be wrong.
No. Dr. Dre was the DJ. Bro.
Who's the other rapper? If you're talking, if you're talking about Dr. Dre and if you're talking about,
Biggie. There is.
No.
Oh, you mean Ice Cube?
In this. No.
50 Cent.
I think it's Dr. Dre.
It can't be Dr. Dre, bro.
No, there is a book, bro. Where
okay, I'll check it out.
who's in the same lines? Dr. Dre. We have Dr. Dre, and we have no, not Snoop Dogg. We have 50 Cent, but like who was very much into drugs and then later moved into like hip hop.
Rick Ross.
No. I think it's Dr. Dre, bro. I read the book. And he started off as dealing into drugs, and then I think Dr. Dre, who was somebody who got into the rap game very slow, amongst all these guys.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
Wait. You tell me like from which city this guy is from?
I don't.
Los Angeles or New York? Like.
I think New York, bro. I think New York.
Okay, then it can't be Dr. Dre, bro, because Dr. Dre is from Los Angeles, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably I'll get back. I will get back to it.
Bro, yeah.
So I was talking.
Man. Yeah. You gotta
I'll get you. I have it. I'll just see it. Right.
Yeah,
So I was talking about Robert J. Schiller, narrative economics and like animal instincts kind of thing. And now it came back.
Cool.
Robert J. Schiller. He was basically writing about this, like the this one right goes more about like more about animal instincts basically, and it's a very interesting stuff that he writes. Uh,
Right.
So next time probably we'll have Google so that it's easier to just
Yeah.
fucking start
We
like I
need
have.
a Jamie, bro. We need
Yeah,
like
we
how
need a
Joe
Jamie.
Rogan has
We need another Jamie where like it props up.
Yeah.
Or I should be able to type it out here. You should be able to see it there, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I should switch off all the lights probably.
Yeah, bro.
That's fun.
Speaking of which, like you know how like you have these good white hat kind of books where it talk about the ideals and all that stuff. Then you have books like this, Narconomics. You have books like where it like teach you the dark side of life, like
50 laws of power.
Yeah,
48 laws of power.
Art of Seduction. So, bro, this is another book. Okay, it's this guy. He's basically a pimp, all right. Like like back in the 50s, he's used to be that guy who used to like do all this pandering and pimping and whatnot. It's called, the name of the book is called Pimp, okay, by Icebreakers, Ice Cooler or whatever. I forgot his name. He has like Iceberg Slim. That's his name, Iceberg Slim.
Okay.
I found out about this book when Dave Chappelle was doing a comedy thing, and he knows the book in verbatim or something. He was talking
Crazy.
Book. So, bro,
Right.
I found the audiobook on YouTube, man, and it's really like, some shadow shit, bro. Like, Jordan Peterson says you got to confront your own shadow and all that.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
yes.
Iceberg Slim is like, pretty dark, bro. Like,
Yeah?
I recommend it, insofar as, if you want to know, like,
Yeah.
like as if,
The
how
deeper,
I would,
the shadow work and like the deeper sides of So I think we have to address those kind of books too, like as part of the podcast. Those are very, very, I can say
Like,
dangerous
Agora.
because like, I was definitely coming to that. Do not worry, I was definitely almost addressing that book too.
Yeah.
Like when I was about to say this, like you have to get into it knowing that like once you read it, it's almost like you can't obviously remove the philosophy out of your head.
True,
You can't unread it now, right? But like you have to be very careful as you read those books
but
because they're very
it's like-
powerful books.
It's like Jordan Peterson says, no, like how, like how it's all about having a sword that can kill, but you don't use it. You keep it there.
You don't use it.
You just-
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. The most
So-
powerful, like the most powerful person is the one who can like do the most damage but choose not to do, basically.
Not to, exactly. Like that's the whole. There was this lecture by Peterson, right, where he says the meek shall inherit the earth, but the meek in Greek, the word meek in Greek, language, it means
Yes, exactly.
somebody who is so powerful but doesn't choose to like do damage. So
Do damage, yeah.
yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, bro.
We spoke pretty much about every kind of book. Like, have you gone into hypnosis? I'm going to just like throw out, or I still have things running.
You have any good? I don't know. Like, are there any good hypnosis books around?
There are for dummies, bro. I start off usually with for dummies, so it's like always fun to like get into a subject.
Dummies.
For dummies, if you just start off through for dummies, it's always fun.
Right.
Exactly. What other book got you like fully going, like got you out of the damn house? For me, it was Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. For me, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. For me, it was you have to read the Everything Store. It's Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
Amazon story, yeah.
Amazing fucking book. And then Made in America. That was Walmart, Sam Walton. Everything about Sam Walton.
Right.
Beautiful book. Like these were the books that like I couldn't stop like working out. I couldn't stop starting things.
Yeah.
Like that made me really move like that.
Moving,
Uh,
like inspiring moving books. Like
Very inspiring. Like that just got you out of your seat and started doing things. What were such books where you couldn't like get that book out of your head? Man, like for Total Recall, that dude obviously made so many movies of heroes, right? The way he wrote the book also was like, what the fuck, like a hero,
Bro, Shoe Dog.
like
Shoe Dog, bro.
yeah. Can we not like, Rich Dad Poor Dad, definitely. Bro, Rich Dad Poor Dad, we just now spoke 20-30 minutes straight into Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm a 100% believer of like literally going out to the streets and giving everybody Rich Dad Poor Dad in every translated version possible,
Bro,
right?
This one, I was talking about this one. Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, Nike guy.
Shoe Dog, Buck,
Yeah, yeah,
Philip
yeah.
Buck Knight. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a great writer.
Yeah.
The way he's written the book, the way he started Blue Ribbon, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Blue Ribbon was started out to be Nike. And fun fact,
Nike.
he didn't even like the name Nike.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever the fuck, the guys around him was like, okay, let's keep it Nike.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
goddess,
Goddess of
warrior
victory.
goddess. Yeah, and
Victory,
stuff like that. So, like, beautiful, beautiful book. I want anybody. Wait. Bro, I'm losing out.
Oh.
So, okay. So, what happens is, after a